Cowan-Dickey sensing an opportunity here, wrestling forward for another score. Brute force.
Wigglesworth seals the match for England.
I never really liked being told what to do, which probably isn't the best thing at school. Being able to have my own identity is pretty cool. I wanted to, sort of embrace that and have my dreadlocks, so I decided I wanted to, and they're just gonna have to deal with it, I guess. You're listening to the England Rugby Podcast, O2 Inside Line. I'm Chandler Cunningham-South. My name's Chandler Cunningham-South, and I play for Harlequins in England. I play back row, so I'm sort of one of the back three positions on the scrum. The best back rowers got to be aggressive, they've got to work hard, and they've got to have a wide skill set. So I was born in Southeast London, then moved over to New Zealand when I was 4, and I grew up in Auckland, which is a lot smaller than London. Yeah, probably a different pace of life over there. But yeah, I really enjoyed growing up there. Well, when I was there, I thought it was busy, and then coming over here, it's not so busy, but I thought it was quite busy. Lots of beaches, lovely beaches, to be fair. I miss that a lot, the beaches, and the weather's nice, but it rains quite a bit. Lots of sport going on. I feel like everyone plays sports, so they're on runs in the morning. Lots of coffee spots, lots of brunches. Growing up, it was my mum, my dad, my sister, but then I also have 4 half-brothers who live over here as well. I'd say probably a little bit mischievous, just had a lot of energy, I think, when I was growing up. I grew up just in like a normal house in Auckland, but then my parents moved up to a farm when I was at school. School's pretty intense. Well, I found it intense when I was growing up, sitting in the classroom all day, doing all the tests and stuff. It wasn't really for me. I preferred more the lunchtime, hanging out with the boys, just being outside, enjoying myself. I was 4 years old when I started playing rugby down at Silverdale Rugby Club. My granddad, I think, actually took me down. He was on holiday over in New Zealand. My mum probably wanted me to burn some energy and thought it'd be a good idea. Ended up, loving it, and still do. So it was a good idea. I think it's just like freedom of the game back then, just sort of being able to run through tackles and tackle people, and you could sort of be a bit rough, which you can't really do like in the classroom or anything. So it's good when you're outside and you're able to tackle people. I was quite a big 4-year-old, so you're meant to do ripper first and then sort of progress. When they weighed me in, they were like, he's ready for tackle already. But mum wasn't too sure about that. She obviously didn't want me getting hurt, but played a couple games of ripper, and then I think she was like, okay, fair enough. Get him into tackle, and then went from there and sort of just loved every part of it. At school, obviously you play your games on Saturday, like with the rugby union, and then the school also had a team that played league, which means you get to miss half a day of school on Wednesday. So I got signed up for that, and I got to play two rugby games in the week, so I was enjoying that. It sort of gave me an escape from the classroom, gave me a team environment to be a part of, and obviously you make a lot of friends when you're in a team and stuff, which I really enjoyed. I never really liked being told what to do, which probably isn't the best thing at school. Being able to have my own identity is pretty cool. I wanted to, sort of embrace that and have my dreadlocks, so I decided I wanted to, and they're just gonna have to deal with it, I guess. I was at uni and wasn't really enjoying the whole uni experience that much. And I did sort of feel like I wanted to try something new. And then when the opportunity came up to come over here, I kind of saw it as, well, I get to go back home, get to see a family that I haven't seen in a long time. Worst case, I'll leave with a uni degree after 2 years and go back home after having some life experience. So it was sort of like a gap year for me, I guess, but turned out a bit differently. Sort of not having a clear path I could see myself making it to be a professional rugby player in New Zealand. I think I sort of seeked an opportunity elsewhere, and I sort of saw that maybe it wasn't the right path for me to stay in New Zealand. I was excited. I think I was scared as well. I didn't want to admit it, but I was a bit scared. Obviously, it was very unknown. I'm moving like a 25-hour flight away from my parents. Mum was obviously very worried. Dad actually drove me to the airport because Mum didn't want to see me get on the plane, I don't think. Cried a little bit on the plane, as you do. I think it all sort of hit me when I got on the plane, like, oh my God, I'm actually doing this. I landed on the 24th of December. So obviously it's like you want to be around your family and stuff. So it was a bit of like a time where you're meant to be with the family. So it was a little bit tough. I got to reconnect with my family over here, which was lovely around that time. I sort of thought, if I'm come all the way over here, I've got to do something. Like I can't be going back home. I've given this opportunity. I need to go and work hard. I actually don't think I started working properly hard until I came over here, because I was like, these guys have offered me an opportunity. I almost wanted to prove it to people back home. Wanted to show my mum. Wanted to show these guys that, you know, they made a good choice. I think it was like, wow, this professional thing, it's intense. It's a big step up. But Jonathan Fisher at London Irish used to tell me, like, some of the stuff you can't teach, but we can teach the other things around it to build your game. And he sort of gave me more confidence in myself and as a player. So it was like, I'm not just playing uni rugby in New Zealand. I'm over here, I'm a professional rugby player, and I'm here to get better. He sort of just took me under his wing straight away, which was nice to sort of be able to have that connection with him, like on a personal level as well. He did really care about me, which was nice. And I think just the hours he put in trying to make me a better rugby player was probably drastic for my career, for sure. You've got to be big nowadays to play rugby. I was big, but obviously I wasn't as athletic or anything like that. But then there's like the S&C and stuff. I never really trained like that, like the proper like rugby S&C. Like I never really done much of that. And there was a guy, Tappers, we called him. He was my S&C coach, and I had a good relationship with him. And he helped me a lot with just like explosive power. He'd make it a bit more fun, because I haven't always liked the gym. I could see why I was doing it. And then if I know why I'm doing something, I don't mind doing it. But like if I'm just going in there lifting loads of weights, I don't understand how it's going to correlate to me on the field. But he'd actually be able to explain every movement I was doing, how it's going to help me become a better player, which I find very helpful. I was doing movements that I hadn't even done before, like all this like explosive stuff with bands, medicine balls, stuff like that. Some of it's crazy stuff you see on TikTok and you're like, what is this? But I found it actually works, so it was good.
On the way goes Cunningham-South, skipping over Tompkins. Big hit coming in there from Cunningham-South.
My name's Jonathan Fisher. I'm currently an assistant coach of the Queensland Reds, but I work with Chandler at the London Irish Academy. I was fortunate enough to be sent some clips of Chandler playing by an agent and thought, goodness me, this lad has potential, and that this was someone who could really add value to English rugby. And I said, we have to sign this kid immediately. And I thought, we've got some work to do here. But the potential was clear and obvious. The first time I watched him play, very destructive, and clearly had an appetite, I think, to impose himself physically on the defenders in front of him. And I think if there's one thing which stood out to me across the course of the time that he was at London Irish, it would probably be the professionalism and the way in which he applied himself across the course of the entire training program. When I see him play now, when I watch him, I think he's clearly matured dramatically, I think, over the course of the last few years. The wonderful talent that I believe Chandler has is he appears very relaxed, very laid back. So what you see with Chandler throughout the vast majority of the time is not necessarily what you get when the gun goes off. You know, he unleashes the beast within. He's pretty ready and willing so I think to represent his family and to represent his friends. And he is ready and willing to do whatever it takes in order to improve his game. And I certainly experienced a lot of vulnerability in Chandler early on when he arrived under Irish and throughout the course of the time that he was transitioning to the first team, because it's a challenging space for young players. They're out there, they're not exactly playing tiddlywinks, are they? So it can induce a bit of fear. There's a huge responsibility. You know, they're under the microscope. So for him to overcome those insecurities or those moments where he felt particularly vulnerable or isolated or lonely with the distance he had from his family and friends back home, to then put one foot in front of the other and keep working at his game and essentially be brave and bold in pursuing his dream. I'm very proud of him that at such a young age, he has had the ability to rise so fast to this point, because I know it's not easy. It hasn't been easy for him as a young man. But I still think there's a lot of growth in his game. I think there's a long, long way to go. I truly still do believe, despite the fact he's playing at the highest level, I think he will know, and I'm sure the people that are coaching him now, that he's just getting started, really, with, I think, the impact he can have on Test rugby.
I sort of had a bit of guidance with an agent who I met in New Zealand. He sort of said, what do you want to do with your career? Do you want to actually give this a proper go. And I was like, yeah, I think I would like to actually give it a go and see where it ends up. And I actually met up with him when we were in New Zealand on the New Zealand tour. So catched up with him for a coffee, which was nice to sort of just reflect on everything that had happened and stuff like that. I don't think he even thought that I'd be playing up against the All Blacks 2-3 years later. You sort of see the highlight reels on YouTube and stuff and you're like, okay, that looks cool, what sort of music they play in. And then I sort of got an idea of what I wanted to do with mine. And obviously mine wasn't as good quality as their videos, but I got lots of clips together from my uni games, put it together and then passed it over to the agent and then he sent it through to a few teams. I can't actually remember what the song was in the reel, but I do remember my agent saying I'm going to have to take the song off when I show these teams, which I was a bit gutted about. I was like, it needs the music. When I was on the phone with the guys at London Irish, I just thought something just clicked and I was just like, yeah, I want to go there. Yeah, I think these guys will look after me and I'll have a good opportunity here. Obviously there was all the rumors going around and like you sort of could feel something was going to happen. Like I had an idea maybe the club would go under. And obviously it's gutting to hear all of that. But then in my head, it was just like, what am I going to be doing next? I guess it was like, then you have to make another decision about where you're going to go, what club's going to have you and what you're going to do. I wouldn't say isolating because other people are going through the same thing as well. So obviously you have your mates at the club and they're like, oh, what are we doing? What are we going to do? So everyone's sort of going through it at the same time, I think, which helped. Even the coaches, obviously, they've got to find new jobs and stuff. So it was a tough time for everybody. So you can sort of kind of find comfort in the fact that you're not the only one going through it. On the phone to my mum, obviously, she wanted me to go home. She was like, well, this is a good opportunity to come home now. Look, you've done it over there enough, you need to come home. And I was like, I don't know if that's the right decision. So I sort of had to speak to a few teams and see where I go from there. Once I made the decision to stay in the UK after London Irish went under, I think that was the decision for me then. It was, I want to stay in the UK and try and get in this England team because I want to play for England. It wasn't an easy decision, but yeah, I got a lot of advice, spoke to a lot of people, and then at the end of the day, it's my decision I'd have to make, and then I'd have to live with it, whatever happened. I think for me, I wanted to be in London and I wanted to play for England, so it made the decision a little bit easier that I didn't have to move too far, which is good. I sort of said, I'm going to stay here, I'm going to sign with the Harlequins, I'm going to see where it goes, but I do feel like the UK, like London, I do feel like this is where I'm meant to be at this time in my life, for sure. I love it in London, and I feel like it's the best place for me at the moment. I do go back to South East London, obviously, to see my family and to head out around there, like Bromley and stuff around there, which is nice to catch up with cousins and family. I think I've been back about 3 times now since coming over. The first time I went back, I was like, oh, it's so nice to see everyone. I really miss this. And then recently, on the last time I went back, I was like, so nice to be back for a visit. It didn't feel like I was going back and I missed it so much anymore. It was almost like, okay, this is what's happened over here. So lovely to see my family and my friends, but home for me at the moment is back in the UK. My mum and I's relationship is very special. I'd say one of a kind. Definitely like a soundboard for anything. I feel comfortable telling her anything, really, good or bad. So she'll be on WhatsApp all the time. She'll be texting me, calling me. I call her all the time, so it's good. We have a strong relationship, and it's nice that we've been able to maintain that even though of the distance. She comes over a lot now though, so like I see her probably twice a year. She comes over, which is nice, and she comes to watch games and she loves it. The smile on her face. She's crying after every game though. I have to say her to stop crying, but it's really nice when I get to spend that quality time with her when she's back over here. She came over in the autumn, which was nice, and she was over in the last Six Nations as well. She was there in the Ireland game where we won, so that was pretty cool to have her there for that. She was crying a lot that day, because also I got injured in that game as well, so she was barely watching the game. She was more just watching me on the golf cart coming around, making sure I was okay. But yeah, no, it's always lovely to have her, and I feel proud when my mum's there to be able to watch me play. I wouldn't say it's different, it's just nice the fact I get to go and hug my mum after a game. I think that's pretty special. I always know she's watching me for sure. She'll be up whatever time to watch my games. She's very proud whenever I put a jersey on.
My name is Caroline, and I am the mum of Chandler Cunningham-South. So I think I would describe Chandler growing up as very strong-willed. As a young child, he had boundless energy. We've had a really close bond, really, from a very young age. When he was about 18 months, his sister Mia went off to school So there was just him and I. So we were quite often always together doing bits and pieces and doing activities. We are very close. We're on the same wavelength, I think. That's probably the best way to describe it. I'll be thinking something and then he'll come out and say it. So to share his rugby journey now, has been amazing. When I visit the UK and, I see people stop him to ask for photographs and things. The main thing I think I'd describe is that he's still Chandler. It hasn't really fazed him and he's been able to maintain his own self despite sort of the growth he's had. And I think that's really important. It's a pretty unreal experience to be at Twickenham. There are so many people there and it's, such an amazing venue. Being with my dad there is amazing. I can share that. And then having Chandler actually on the field just enhances it, 100%. It's pretty amazing. I find it very emotional. I'm proud of his resilience and the fact that he will constantly keep wanting to improve himself.
It's hard, obviously people relying on you and you being expected to be at that level all the time. I think it is hard and it's hard to have that pressure, but I think I want to fulfill that and I want to be the best player I can be. But I've also got to think in my head, I am 21 years old. It's not all gonna click and come to me straight away. I've got to keep working. There's a lot of stuff in my game I'm not happy with yet. I want to make it better. So I suppose it's cool because I know it's not the finished product yet. Yeah, for sure. I wouldn't say I'm the most patient person. Obviously want to be the finished product now, but I know it's not that easy. I know it's going to take probably a few more years before I am. I think as long as I keep working hard, I can reach my goals. I watch a bit of football, with the guy I live with, Will J. We're usually watching Arsenal because that's his team, but sometimes we watch the Chelsea games and stuff. And obviously I've seen this guy's celebration all the time because he's always scoring. So I was just well, that's a cool celebration. And then I was I might try that one game. And then when I scored the try, I think I was just oh my God, I'm gonna have to do something right now. And then I just did it. And if I'm gonna go and do a celebration like that, we lose, I'm obviously gonna be getting a bit of stick for it for sure. But that's how it is. Some people don't like it when you celebrate and that's the game. But at the end of the day, I think I'm young. I'm so excited when I score a try. If I want to celebrate, I'm going to do it. And that's just how it is. I'll have to take whatever comes with it, good and bad.
I'm Richard Wigglesworth. I am the senior assistant coach. Chandler Cunningham-South, good fun, great natured, good energy about him. I think everyone really enjoys his company on the pitch. Turns into a different thing. Doesn't he? He goes stop me. You give him the ball and he's going, I'm coming. Everyone wants to play with those sorts of guys.
Cunningham-South says, right, we need Taylor to lift the mood. Celebrates with the crowd on the cheer. That's his second big shot coming in.
I'm Tom Willis. I play for Saracens and England Rugby. Chandler, I'd probably describe him on the pitch as incredibly physical. He's a big old boy. He's probably not someone you want running at you. Off the pitch, he's a very chilled out guy, funny guy, loves Love Island. He's managed to get me hooked on that this week. He's convinced he can go on in next season if he gets his rig right. So.
Taken quickly. Cunningham-South has two.
I thought I was going to do something bigger. I just didn't really know what it was. I didn't want to just have an ordinary job. I wanted to do something out of the ordinary, something cool. Just sort of ended up doing rugby, which I'm pretty happy about. I'm not sure what I'm going to do afterwards. Just try and take it day by day, man. I'm trying to be chill, but obviously in the back of your mind, I'm going to have to work after this at some point. Most likely going to have to get a job, but we'll see, man. Yeah. I would like to be able to help players as well, for sure. I don't think I'd be able to be a head coach, but I do think something working with younger players, I think I'd like to do. Be able to connect with them on and off the field and sort of see how they tick and be able to help them progress the best they can. When I first joined Quins, we came in for a training sesh against the England team, and I was like, this is crazy. I want to be a part of this for sure. I was just trying to train hard, running at everyone, trying to tackle everyone. And then since coming into the environment when I first came in, it's pretty intimidating. We all met up at Penny Hill Park, and then, oh, hi, how are you? Nice to meet you. And then you get on a flight and we're out here doing full-on hard training up against the opposite number and stuff like that it is intimidating for sure, and it's hard, but you've also got to find your time to chill out, be yourself. My dad came out to my debut game in Italy. Just knowing he was there was cool as well. Like he had some crazy flight route to be able to make it to the game. Like I think he flew out like the next day after I called him, because obviously it's not the shortest flight and he hates flying. So I was like, well, he's coming out all the way here. So it was I knew it was like a big moment, and it was just, it was special to be able to do it. So to switch off, I like watching films. I like going out for food. Today I actually did hot pod yoga, which is good. I'm trying to get a bit more flexible. That's one of my work on my mobility. So today I did a bit of hot pod yoga, which is nice, just to switch off and you don't really to think about rugby and stuff and just chill out a bit. I'd say I'm probably not comfortable completely yet. Like, it's a hard environment, it's high performance sport. Obviously everybody wants to play, you train very hard. I think it's just when you're in your downtime, being able to try and switch off the best you can and then chill out with your friends and sort of, had the good times outside of the training as well, where you can take a step back from it all and try and switch off. I think that's the best way when you're in camps like this. Work hard when you're on, and then when you're off, make sure you switch off and recover well and chill out. So I used to have a lot of superstitions. I used to have I can only wear these socks or I'm not going to play well. I can only wear these underpants or I'm not going to play well. But I've sort of phased them out. The only thing I do is I like to write in a book, just sort of like manifestations for the game and what I want to be able to do on the field that day. It's been the same book ever since I landed in the country, and I'm running out of pages. So I'm going at the bottom of pages now. I'm trying to fit it in, but I don't really want to switch books yet. It's usually listen to a bit of music, just in the room, chilling, and it's probably just after I have my last shower before I walk out to the team walkthrough and getting ready to get on the bus. Just before then, take the moment just to write down the things I want, because I've got a clear head then, and I know what I want to do in the game. Now I look at it after the game, good or bad, and I have a look, see how I worded things. Not every game is going to be your best game, but I think just trying to be positive before definitely helps, and sort of believing what I'm writing down for sure helps. For me, it's being able to walk off the field and think, I've had an amazing performance. I've had that complete game where I'm so happy with my game. I haven't had it yet, but I'm obviously striving for that. But I don't know if I'll get it, or if that's just a mindset thing. You always think you can work on something better in the game. But I've had games where I've been very happy. I've been okay, yeah, that was probably a little 85%, but we still got 15% to work on there. But I'm aiming for the perfect performance. Yeah. Coming up next on England Rugby Podcast, O2 Inside Line.
I don't know what we were expecting. We had an email saying there's a meeting on Monday. We knew we were in a bad place, but we didn't realise it was a case of basically your contract's terminated immediately and you're done.